So we talked about why you would ever want to use that code because it's so much easier to count. One other reason you might want to use it, please listen. If you understand what the code is saying and you had to move a bunch of points, it would be quicker to move the bunch of points that way instead of counting them all out. So take a look at this. Here's the code one more time so you guys can look. They have this triangle here. Look where all the points are. These are not where the triangles are, but look, do you see how there's so many to do? Every single X and Y, like this one here, is at 1, 3, and you probably can't tell that yours is at 1, 3 because the dots are bad. At A is at 1, 3. Where's A prime? Well, I can keep the X the same and flip the sign on the Y. It's 1, -3. So it can go quicker. The original here is at 4, 1. If you know what the code says keep the X, flip the Y. So what's the new C prime going to be? Keep the X, -1. Okay? No, we haven't had to do any of that flipped over the midpoint. You won't use a code on those. Okay, good question. If there's one where it flips over a different point, we only use the code for 3 special ones. Next, here is that code we just talked about when it goes over the y-axis. On the y-axis, the x flips and the y stays the same. So I'm only going to do one. This point was at 4, 1. The new one says flip the x, keep the y. -4, 1. Shh, Chloe. Yeah, if you do want to go to sleep, that's actually fine now. Okay. All right. Everyone understand how it could help you? I'm sorry. Okay. So here we go. We're going to try this next one here. They are giving you a triangle, but did they give us a picture? No. They gave us a triangle, but they did not give us a picture. You could draw the picture if you want. I'll give you graph paper. I want you to get the questions right. But you don't have to if you use the code. They want us to reflect over x-axis. So look up at the top of the paper. What is the code for x-axis? It's x -y, isn't it? Is that what it says under x-axis? If you find the right code? So what does that tell me? A prime is going to be x. What does this say? X stays the same. So it's going to be what? If x stays the same, what's the x going to be? Here's A. What's x going to be if it stays the same? 3. And it says take the opposite of y. So what's the opposite of y? -2. I need you guys to try to see this. I need you to see this. Gabe sees it. He's participating, and I'm super grateful. I need you guys to dig in here and help me so we can get through these notes. We're already going slow because of the technology. Look, B is 4, 6. So where is B prime going to be? Look, B is 4, 6. X, Y. Keep the X. Change the sign of the Y. So what's the new B going to be? Thank you. 4, -6. Okay, Hunter's going to do the next one. C prime. Thank you. 1, -5. So we just did 3 in a row, and that would have been quicker than counting all those points. It would have been. But we knew the code and you understand it. Can you understand it when I'm not with you? I don't know. I don't know if you can. If it's the test or the quiz, no. If it's the test or the quiz, you'll raise your hand. We'll show you that code, and we'll kind of show you a point to remember what it was doing. But the more you practice with it, the better you'll be, because it's going to be tricky on the test because everything is going to be mixed together, and I have some nerves about it. Okay? Now everybody look. This one says you have to use the right code too. You can't use the wrong code. This says x-axis. That's the same one we just did, isn't it? Okay, so here is the point. Where is the new point going to be? Here are your choices. Where is A prime going to be if that code that you look at the top of your page is this for x-axis? Be careful. X stays the same and the Y changes signs. So which one has A, has the X stay the same and Y changing signs? Let's look. Did you change the sign? Good question. I see what happened there. Okay. This is a good question. And I wasn't thinking kids are going to ask it. And I love what you said. So this here, negative Y, does not mean there has to be a negative answer. Okay. I need you to go back up to your code at the very top. And where it says negative Y, it means the opposite of Y. It means change whatever the sign is. It doesn't stay the same. You change the sign. Does that make more sense? You guys saw the negative and you're all like, oh, it's the one that has to have the negative on that spot. No. So you take this stays the same, which is 4. Change the sign of this one. So now it's not negative 1, it's positive 1. Because really what it is it's negative 1. Does everybody see it? So that makes it positive. Keep the sign, change the sign. The answer is actually C. And a lot of us mess that up. So if you could go back up to your codes at the top and make sure you write, change the sign by that negative Y or the opposite of the sign, whatever will help you. Make sure you do that. I would do it too, but it takes me 10 minutes just to erase. Huh? I don't, well, I'm not using Active Inspire. I'm using the Screencastify garbage. This is really just a bad day for me. But I don't cry because kids make fun of me. Look, do you see that? I just erased that. Do you see how it says still there? Whatever. Okay. This one, there's no code. We have to do it by hand. And you have bad graph paper, and I'm sorry. They want us to reflect over the line x equals 2. So the first thing I would do is draw in x equals 2. Where is x equals 2? It touches the x at the 2. And then you draw in your line. Okay? And now we do what Hunter suggested we did earlier. We count. Since B is 1 away, where is B prime going to be? 1 away. So this will be B prime. You'll be a little off, but it's fine. C is 1 away. C prime will be 1 away. And I know Tayton, when he was doing some of his translating on the slides, he didn't do each individual point. He started like drawing the figure from the new one, and you can do that too. Be careful on the diagonals though, those get tricky. And now A, how far is A from the line? 1, 2, 3, 4. So count 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. And A prime will be here. And then you'll connect and make the shape, and it will be congruent. It will be the same shape. Everyone see it? Okay, go ahead and look at the next one. They're not asking us to do the whole thing, but you could. They just want to know where A prime will be after you reflect it over the line that they drew. So first, I would do that by counting personally. I wouldn't do anything fancy there. I would just count, and it's easier for me because my graph paper looks better than some of yours. But here's A. Where is A prime going to be? So this is how far away? Oh, good. You already did it. Perfect. It's going to be right here. -3, +3. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, they thought this was trickier. I don't think it is. But you might. Sometimes the line that we reflect or the mirror is physically touching the shape. If that happens, where is C prime going to be? It's actually in the same spot. Does everybody see it? They're kissing. It's not going to move, and it will make vertical angles. I like how you said that. So the only 2 points I technically have to move are A and B. So it is going over the x-axis. So this will go up to, this will go down to. This is going to be A prime. B prime will be down to as well. And C is the same thing as C prime. So it's actually both. It's at the same time. It's C and C prime because the old C is the new C. And if you want to know why that works with the code, it's because the point is 2, 0. And the code over the x-axis said that it's going to go to x negative y. What happens if you change the sign of 0? Negative 0, it doesn't matter. It's still 0, right? So that's why. Okay, are we getting close? What do you have? One more page, 2? Okay. Page and a half, and then we'll look at that quiz. And like I said, I'm super sorry that things were so bad with the technology today. Okay, let's look at this, because this is it right here. This is the one thing I'm worried about. This is the hardest. If you're sleeping, wake up. Okay, what happens if the reflection line goes through the shape? This is where the definition that Hunter said, mirror, is that what he said, was mirror? Mirror doesn't quite work here. Unless you think of, have you guys seen Stranger Things? Unless you think of like Stranger Things and the other side type thing. If you were on the inside and you flipped, you would be on the outside of the upside down, right? But if the line goes here, I like to think of it more as a flip or like almost like a spin. If a flag was on the middle of something, if you can picture it like that, it's going to flip on the line. Does that make sense? So look, the counting still works. R is going to be on this side of the line at R prime. So go ahead and draw it. Q is going to count over 2 as well to be right here. But what do I do about P? Do you see how P has to go the other way now? So P prime is on the other side of the line. Every single point has to hop the line. They might not hop the same direction if the line is actually on the shape. But when you draw it, it's supposed to look the same. I never think it quite does until I'm all the way done. And then I can kind of see what happened. It kind of flipped around that line. Can you kind of see it? Okay. So if it's on the figure, it's okay. But some have to go one direction and some have to go others. Like if you're out, you're in, and if you're in, you're out. All right, let's try these. This one here, actually, we only have one more because I think there's like a summary at the end a little bit. Okay, they're going over x equals 0. X equals 0, I hate how they called it that, is the same thing as the y-axis. So you could use the code if you wanted. However, I wouldn't have used the code here. The reason I wouldn't have used the code here is because they didn't give me the points anyway, so I might as well just count, you know? Okay, I am going to draw my line, though, so I can see where it's at. X equals 0 is right here, guys. So draw that dash in there. Where will J prime be? Here is J. Where will J prime be? 2, 1. Beautiful. 2, 1. And it should make sense to you because look, this one was at negative 2, 1. So the signs changed on the X, the Y stayed the same. Where would K prime be? It's in the same spot. You're absolutely right. Remember, you go X direction first. So we went 0 in the X direction and then up 3. And then L would have to go the other way. Okay. This line y equals x is a diagonal line. And it is weird. It is super weird, actually. I was kind of upset they put it on here, but the code is super easy. It is hard to do this one by hand. If I'm going to reflect this triangle, and you guys have bad graph paper, so it's worse, you actually have to go diagonal to count. So do you see how this went half of a box? I'd have to go half of a box to B prime. You have to go straight diagonal. This went 1. This will have to be A prime. And now C, if I count diagonal, goes 1 full box, 2 full boxes. So 1 full box, 2 full boxes, and I'm pretty confident Tayton would not have done it that way. He would have counted from the other 2 points, which would have been fine. And I could be wrong. But when you draw it, it is very clear you reflected it over that diagonal line and it looks good. But here is the amazing thing about the code on these. Take a look at what happens. XY actually becomes, I want you to see if you can figure out what the code would be. This point was -1, 3. Guess what its matching point was? 3, -1. A was at 2, 3. A prime was at 3, 2. How are those related? They reverse. So instead of x, y, the new point is actually what we say is y, x. So what does that do? It just switches the points. And you will want to write switch points because the y being in the first spot freaks a lot of kids out. The code is just telling you to switch the points. Okay, I think that we're pretty much done. The last page, I don't really remember what it says. I'll try to look here in a second. But at the very bottom, I just put all of the codes. So while I'm going through this last example, the kids in class, we only have 20 minutes. I need you to open up your quiz so that we can, yeah, we're not going to do that last example because I don't have time. So you're just going, there's the codes, all of the codes if you need them. All right, thanks, guys.